There comes a time in your life when you must stop looking around for validation, support, or approval. That time is now. You don't need anyone to tell you that you are enough. You don't need anyone to approve your dreams. You don't need anyone to rescue you, fix you, or carry you. You are the author of your life, the fire in your soul, and the only person responsible for your breakthrough. Too often, people believe they need someone else to get started. They think success comes from having the right connections, the right partner, or the right support system. But the truth is, self-reliance is the foundation of every strong, successful, and unshakable individual. The ability to depend on yourself is not just a skill, it's a mindset. And once you master it, you become unstoppable. Self-reliance doesn't mean you shut everyone out. It means you don't depend on others to validate, motivate, or carry you through life. It's understanding that your dreams are your responsibility and no one is going to hand you your future. You have to take the steps, build the foundation, and do the work no matter who is watching, helping, or applauding. There will be times when no one understands what you're doing. Times when your phone doesn't ring. When no one checks in. That silence is where your power begins. If you can learn to move forward without a cheerleader, without an audience, without approval, you've already won. You've become someone who doesn't wait for life to happen. You make it happen. Society often glamorizes team efforts and partnerships, but what's rarely celebrated is the lone wolf, the one who kept going when no one else believed, the one who didn't quit when they had every reason to. That's the power of self-reliance. It builds character, sharpens resilience, and teaches you how to survive storms most people would drown in. You don't become powerful by being surrounded. You become powerful by being self-sufficient. When you know how to pick yourself up, how to solve your own problems, and how to keep your spirit alive without anyone's help, that's when you step into a different league. That's when life stops controlling you, and you start mastering it. Self-reliance teaches you to trust your instincts. You stop second-guessing every move because you no longer need someone else to confirm it's right. You begin to develop a strong inner compass that guides you through uncertainty. You build confidence not through compliments, but through experience and grit. And in the quiet moments, when things are hard, when setbacks hit, and when you feel completely alone, you realize something powerful. You're still standing. You're still moving. You're still capable. Because you didn't build your life on someone else's strength. You built it on your own. That kind of power can't be taken from you. It's not borrowed, not rented, and not dependent on circumstances or people. It's yours. And once you've tasted the strength of self-reliance, you stop begging for support. You stop chasing validation. You realize you were the answer all along. There's a moment in every person's life when they realize no one is coming to save them. No one is going to hand them the life they dream of. That moment can feel like a breaking point, or it can be your awakening. The truth is, everything changes when you stop waiting to be picked, to be noticed, to be chosen. Instead, you stand up and choose yourself. Choosing yourself means you stop asking for permission to be great. You no longer need someone to tell you you're talented enough, smart enough, beautiful enough, or worthy enough. You declare it for yourself. You claim your space in this world without apology, without hesitation, and without waiting for a nod of approval. For too long, people wait for someone to open a door. But choosing yourself means you kick the door open, or you build one where it didn't exist. You become the architect of your opportunities. You start the business without a partner. You pursue the dream without applause. You write the book. Launch the idea. Take the leap because you no longer need external green lights. You are the green light. Choosing yourself is an act of rebellion in a world that conditions us to seek validation. We're taught to earn love, approval, acceptance. But when you choose yourself, you break that cycle. You stop performing for others and start showing up for you. You no longer shrink to fit into rooms that weren't designed for you. You expand even if it makes others uncomfortable. When you choose yourself, You start attracting a different energy. People sense your confidence. They feel your presence. Not because you're loud or flashy, but because you're aligned. You've stopped asking, "Am I good enough?" and replaced it with, "I know who I am." That shift changes everything. You go from seeking to leading, from chasing to building. This isn't arrogance, it's clarity. Choosing yourself doesn't mean you think you're better than others. It means you finally realize you don't need to be less so others feel more. You honor your own voice, your own gifts, and your own path without comparison. You stop waiting to be invited to someone else's table because you're too busy building your own. There's freedom in choosing yourself. Freedom from the need to explain, to justify, to prove. You move from scarcity to abundance because you're no longer living for approval, you're living in purpose. You wake up knowing you belong in every room you step into, not because someone let you in, but because you showed up and owned it. Every time you choose yourself, you rewrite your story. You take back power that life, people, or circumstances tried to strip from you. And the more you choose yourself, the less you tolerate what doesn't serve you, the more you attract what aligns with you, and the closer you get to becoming who you were always meant to be. We grow up in a world that teaches us to seek approval. From childhood, we're praised when we meet expectations and corrected when we don't. Slowly, we begin to equate love with validation, and our self-worth becomes a performance measured by how others see us. But the truth is, self-love begins the moment you stop chasing applause and start embracing yourself. External validation is a moving target. One day you're celebrated, the next you're criticized. If your value depends on someone else's opinion, you'll spend your life on an emotional roller coaster high when you're liked, broken when you're not. That's not love. That's emotional slavery. True love, real peace, comes from learning how to affirm yourself without needing a witness. Self-love is a quiet, powerful force. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't need to prove anything. It whispers, "I am enough." When you love yourself, you stop asking questions like, "Did they like me?" and instead ask, "Do I like how I showed up?" Your worth no longer comes from praise. It comes from presence. You become rooted, not reactive. There's nothing wrong with being appreciated by others. The danger is when you depend on it. When you need compliments to feel beautiful. When you need followers to feel seen. When you need someone else to tell you you're worthy of love. That's the trap. Because the moment that validation is removed, your foundation crumbles unless you've built it from within. When you choose self-love, you no longer tolerate being treated like a backup plan. You stop begging for attention or settling for crumbs. You understand that love isn't something you earn, it's something you already deserve. You're no longer desperate to be chosen because you've already chosen yourself. That shift changes your standards, your boundaries, and your energy. People who love themselves walk differently. They glow, not because life is perfect, but because they've made peace with who they are. They aren't chasing perfection, they're living in authenticity. And that authenticity, that unshakable self-acceptance, is more powerful than any amount of likes, followers, or public approval. Self-love teaches you that not everyone will understand you, and that's okay. You stop trying to please the crowd and start honoring your soul. You realize that some people won't like you simply because you're not afraid to like yourself. And instead of shrinking, you stand taller. Because your love for you isn't conditional, it's complete. The day you stop relying on external validation is the day you take your power back. You reclaim your identity. You silence the noise. And in the quiet, you find something deeper than recognition. You find peace. A peace that isn't shaken by opinions, rejection, or absence. A peace that stays because it lives inside you, not outside of you. One of the hardest truths to accept is that your journey is uniquely yours. No matter how many people you love, how many friends you have, or how much support you receive, no one can live your life for you. Your battles, your growth, your healing, and your elevation are personal assignments. And at some point, you must walk the path alone. It's tempting to look around and compare your journey to someone else's, to measure your progress by their timeline. But the truth is, no two lives are built the same. What they overcame, what they were given, and what they're facing is not yours to carry. And what you're building doesn't require their approval or their pace. You're not behind. You're on your road. There will be seasons where no one truly understands what you're going through. You'll try to explain it, but words will fall short. And that's okay. Because your growth isn't meant to be understood by everyone. It's meant to be felt by you. Some breakthroughs happen in silence. Some healing takes place in private. And that solitude is sacred. When you embrace that, your journey is yours alone. You stop expecting others to carry emotional weight they were never built to hold. You release the disappointment that comes from unmet expectations. You learn how to comfort yourself, how to listen to your own voice, and how to be your own anchor when the waves hit hard. This solitude isn't a punishment, it's preparation. It's in those lonely, quiet moments that you truly meet yourself. You discover your strength, your patterns, your triggers, and your resilience. You begin to see your reflection clearly, without the distortion of other people's opinions. That clarity becomes the compass for the next chapter of your life. The most powerful people are those who've walked through the fire alone and came out forged in self-belief. They don't seek a crowd to validate their decisions. They walk with a quiet confidence because they've already faced the storm and survived. They're not looking for direction. They are the direction. And that kind of self-awareness is earned in solitude. Sometimes, the people you thought would walk with you forever will exit without warning. And though it may hurt, you'll realize they were only meant to walk with you to a point, not through it. Your journey will require you to outgrow people, release attachments, and let go of comfort zones that no longer align. And the more you resist this truth, the more painful the journey becomes. But once you accept that this is your path, something powerful shifts. You stop begging people to understand you. You stop trying to drag others with you. You start walking confidently, boldly, faithfully. And in doing so, you begin to unlock the life that was designed specifically for you. Standing alone is often misunderstood. People assume it means you're lonely, rejected, or unloved. But in truth, standing alone is one of the most courageous things a person can do. It means you've decided to move forward, even when no one else is clapping, even when no one else is walking beside you. It means your mission is more important than your comfort. Many people fear being alone, not because solitude is dangerous, but because it forces them to face themselves. But when you learn to stand alone without fear, you begin to see solitude differently. It becomes a place of clarity, strength, and transformation. You're no longer running from silence, you're embracing it. Because in that silence, your true voice rises. Standing alone means you trust your vision, even when others can't see it. You don't need a crowd to validate your calling. You don't need 10 people to understand your dream. Sometimes, the most powerful journeys start in isolation. Just you, your faith, your grind, and your belief that something greater is waiting on the other side of your commitment. The world tries to condition you to believe you're nothing without others, without a partner, a friend group, a support system. But when you learn to stand alone, you realize your value was never tied to your proximity to others. You carry your worth within you. You are not empty when you are alone. You are focused. You are powerful. You are enough. When you're unafraid to stand alone, you become unshakable. People can leave, opinions can change, and the noise can grow louder, but your peace remains. Because you've built something on the inside that can't be shaken by what's on the outside. That's the strength solitude teaches. It teaches you how to stop depending on presence and start depending on purpose. It's not that you reject people, it's that you're no longer controlled by the need to be surrounded. You know how to enjoy your own company. You've learned how to fill your own cup. And when you do connect with others, it's not out of desperation. It's out of alignment. You're no longer attaching out of fear. You're connecting from a place of wholeness. People will question your strength when you choose to walk alone. They'll think you've changed. And the truth is, you have. You've stopped needing to be understood by everyone. You've stopped shrinking yourself to belong. Because you've realized your peace, your growth, and your future are more important than temporary company or shallow acceptance. And so you walk with your head high and your soul intact. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Standing alone doesn't mean you're isolated. It means you've leveled up to a place where your connection to yourself is stronger than your need for company. And that, right there, is how true freedom begins. There comes a time in life when you must decide that waiting is no longer an option. You stop waiting for the perfect timing. You stop waiting for the right mood, the right people, or the right opportunity to come knocking. You realize that the longer you wait, the further you drift from the life you were meant to live. And so you move. You act. You begin. Waiting is often disguised as patience, but many times it's really just fear in a mask. We tell ourselves we're waiting for clarity, for signs, for the stars to align. But deep down, we're afraid. Afraid to fail. Afraid to be seen. Afraid to take responsibility. The truth is, clarity doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. Action breeds answers. Momentum creates meaning. No more waiting for someone to give you permission. No more waiting for a partner to believe in you. No more waiting for your confidence to magically appear. It doesn't work that way. Confidence is built in motion. It's earned through effort. You have to start, even when you don't feel ready. Especially when you don't feel ready. Because that's when the breakthrough happens. The perfect moment is a myth. Life isn't a stage where everything falls into place on cue. Life is messy, unpredictable, and raw. But that doesn't mean you sit on the sidelines. You weren't made to spectate, you were made to create. And every moment you spend waiting for things to change is a moment you could have used to make them change. You stop waiting when you finally believe you're enough, just as you are right now. You stop looking at others and thinking they have something you don't. You realize the only difference between those who made it and those who didn't is this. They started. They moved through the fear. They chose action over excuses. And so can you. No more waiting for the pain to disappear before you start healing. No more waiting for the job to come before you start building your dream. No more waiting for motivation to hit before you discipline yourself. Waiting is a delay tactic dressed in comfort. But purpose doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in commitment. It grows when you decide enough is enough. You will never know how powerful you are until you stop standing at the edge and finally jump. You won't know how strong you are until you take the step, even with shaky legs and a pounding heart. The fear will be there. The doubt will whisper. But so will the fire. So will the calling. And the more you walk in faith, the more everything starts to align. This is your life, not a rehearsal, not a dress rehearsal for someday. You're in it now, and the clock is ticking whether you act or not. So ask yourself, how much longer will you wait to become who you were always meant to be? Because nothing changes until you do. There is a moment in life when the illusion fades that someone is coming to save you. You realize no one's going to knock on your door with a miracle. No one's going to swoop in and fix everything. That realization hits hard, but it also sets you free. Because once you understand that no one is coming, you begin to become the person you've been waiting for. You are your own rescue. No one knows your pain like you do. No one sees the battles you fight silently each day. And because of that, no one is better equipped to heal you, fight for you, and rebuild you than you. Others can support you, but they can't save you. That part is your responsibility. That's your power, and it's time to own it. Waiting for someone to fix your life is how you stay stuck. It's how you live on pause, convincing yourself that when the right person, opportunity, or solution shows up, you'll finally start living. But what if no one shows up? What if no one sees your worth the way you deserve? Will you wait forever? Or will you stand up and become the person who saves you? Becoming your own rescue doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you're willing to search for them. It means you stop outsourcing your happiness, your healing, and your future. You start learning, growing, unlearning, and evolving. You stop pointing fingers and start taking action. You stop blaming others and start building your own ladder out of the pit. There is power in taking full accountability. When you say this is on me, you're not condemning yourself. You're empowering yourself. Because if it's on you, then you're not helpless. You're not a victim. You're not waiting. You're choosing. You're rising. You're saying, I may not have caused all this pain, but I will be the one to break the cycle. The truth is, no one can feel your hunger like you can. No one can truly understand what you're capable of except you. And sometimes the people closest to you will underestimate you. They'll doubt your comeback. But that doesn't matter because your redemption story isn't for their approval. It's for your liberation. Rescuing yourself is messy. It's not always glamorous. It's crying in the middle of the night but still showing up the next day. It's failing and trying again. It's setting boundaries, losing people, and feeling the sting of growth. But it's also realizing that you're still here, still standing, still rising, and no one can take that from you. You'll start to notice a shift the moment you stop begging to be rescued and start reclaiming your power. Your standards rise. Your circle changes. Your mindset evolves. You don't entertain what drains you anymore because you're too busy becoming what fulfills you. You begin to live for you, not for applause, not for validation, just truth. This isn't about doing it all alone. It's about knowing that whether people stay or go, help or hinder, you've got you. And when you've got you, there's nothing you can't rebuild, rise above, or transform. For too long, many of us have tied our sense of self-worth to how others perceive us. We base our identity on the roles others expect us to play: the loving partner, the successful worker, the good friend. But the truth is, your identity cannot be defined by anyone else's standards or approval. You are not a reflection of how others see you. You are a reflection of how you see yourself. The moment you let someone else define your worth, you give up the most powerful thing you have: your sense of self. You become what they expect, what they want, and what they need you to be, losing sight of the truth of who you are. But when you stop seeking validation from others, you begin to reclaim your own identity. You stop being a product of someone else's narrative and become the author of your own story. We live in a world where comparison runs rampant. We look at social media, at our peers, at those around us, and wonder why we're not living the same life. But comparison steals your individuality. It makes you think that your worth is tied to your success, your appearance, or your popularity. When you understand that your value is intrinsic and not determined by comparison, you stop measuring yourself by someone else's yardstick. Your identity is an evolving, personal experience. It's shaped by your choices, your growth, your failures, and your victories. It's something that no one can take from you unless you let them. When you realize your identity is not dependent on others, you stop seeking their approval. You stop changing to fit into their mold, and instead you create your own mold, one that fits you perfectly. The opinions of others will always fluctuate. One day you're their hero, the next you're invisible. Their words are fickle, but your identity is constant. It doesn't change with trends, doesn't shift with opinions. It is built from within. The moment you detach your worth from others' opinions, you stop being affected by their judgments. You become anchored in who you are, regardless of what anyone says or thinks. The truth is, most people don't know who you truly are, and that's okay. They only know what they see, what they assume, or what they've been told. But your identity is far deeper than their perception. Your purpose, your dreams, your passions, your fears, all of these form the unique being you are. Only you have access to the depth of who you are. And when you realize that, you begin to live unapologetically. The people who matter most will love you for who you are, not who they need you to be. They won't try to mold you into something you're not. They will accept your quirks, your flaws, your uniqueness, and they'll see the beauty in your authenticity. Those are the people who truly understand you. They don't need you to change because they love you for your essence, not the image you project. Once you understand that your identity is yours alone, you stop shrinking. You stop apologizing for who you are. You stop hiding parts of yourself to make others comfortable. You begin to stand tall in your truth. And in that confidence, you draw the right people to you, people who accept you for the real you, not the version you feel pressured to be. Your identity is your superpower. It's the only thing that no one can take from you, not even the most important people in your life. When you detach your worth from others' expectations, you become unbreakable. You walk through life knowing that you are enough, just as you are, and you stop looking outside of yourself for confirmation.